Have you ever heard of the difference between fate and destiny? So fate is this preordained outcome that's dictated by the gods. And destiny is an outcome that is willed by your own efforts and awareness, something that is meant to happen if you will go and rise to it. Some would call fate as predestined, suggesting that perhaps fate is what happens before you awaken to and seize your destiny. It also presupposes that there might be something that we could call post-fate. And I would say that post-fate is destiny. So we're saying there is fate, this preordained outcome that only the gods can know and control, and destiny, the outcomes that are dictated by you, should you awaken to your fate and seize your destiny through your own conscious effort. So my question to you is, where are you? Are you living a life of predestined fate or post-fate destiny? My hope it's the latter of the two. So the reason why I'm thinking about this and wanted to share my thoughts and my theories with you is because recently I've launched Thriving and Aligned for the third year, and really technically the second year in this format. And I decided to add 5 more weeks to the program on top of the 6 weeks of recordings, because I wanted to have 2 parts. One that works on the fate that we are subjected to if we don't awaken to our destiny. And then the second part, the 5 weeks, which are Zoom calls with me, talking about the business, my tech stack, all the things that you could possibly know to get to a 6-figure a month business. But what I realized is that a lot of times when I see these business programs out there, a lot of people aren't talking about how to rise, how to transcend out of our fate. Another way that I think about fate, by the way, is that it's a life where we are subjected to living the statistics and the cycles that we grew up out of. So if you look at your own life, you can start to see that you have cycles, right? Maybe you have a kind of person that you like to date. Maybe the way that you've left your job always kind of carries the same pattern. Or maybe the home that you've lived in always kind of looks the same, feels the same, or has some weird final ending in the same way. And if you hold that gaze just long enough and look at your own personal life, but then see how your personal life is repeating some of the same cycles as your parents, your community, your ancestors, you'll see that until you wake up to some of these cycles and patterns, you are stuck in some kind of matrix that keeps you tethered to a history that is not your own, keeps you tied to statistics that don't allow you to live your own unique life's path. I'm all about living a life of destiny, meaning, and purpose. And I really believe that everybody on this planet has that potential, no matter how challenging or difficult their life has been or currently is. Because if we can start to learn the tools and the understanding and the lifestyle that sees that it's not about what's happened to us, but what we do with what we're left with in the wake of what's happened, we can see that what's happening to us or what has happened to us is actually happening for us, for our highest good, no matter what comes our way. But this is a pretty high level perspective, because I know for a lot of us, like myself, we've been through some stuff. A lot of things have happened, things that feel heavy and burdensome. And if you are working a job right now, maybe 2 or 3 jobs for some of us out there in the world, it's hard to imagine that you could start a business and that you could transcend all those challenges and trials and tribulations that come with it, with the weight of the burdens of your life, with the lack of time or the lack of sleep or the lack of finances. And for some of you, you've already taken that leap and you're not quite sure how to go higher when you've given so much. And what I want to share with you today, and what I believe Thriving Aligned can help you with over time, is to see how everything is for your use. How everything that is happening right now is actually the substrate for the very makings of the best life that you can imagine. That actually your vision and the goals and the dreams that you have are only capable or only possible if you use everything you've got right here and right now. And that includes all of you. There's this other concept that I want to introduce. It's called amor fati. And from Latin, it translates to something like love one's fate, or to love fate. And I think the way that this connects to my first part of this theory is that in order for us to be able to transcend our fate, we must love it. We must accept it. We must fully be present to it. We must recognize what our beliefs are, what our habits are, both healthy and unhealthy, what benefits us in our daily lives and what doesn't. What beliefs were passed down that we didn't even recognize we took on that do or don't support us and our mission here on earth. If we can allow ourselves to employ this concept, amor fati, then we can start to take responsibility for our lives, because we see that so much of our lives have been unconsciously taken on when they were not our own. And by recognizing that there is so much about the way that we live our lives, the way that we do things, the way that we expect meetings to go or people to welcome us or not, all of these things that are just commonplace and often unthought of, is actually made powerful if we become aware of it and make a choice to keep it or to leave it based off of its benefit or its harm. So this idea of transcending our fate, to seize our destiny, in my mind comes from this concept of amor fati. We must recognize where we are. We must take responsibility for where we are, even if the things that we took on, even if the things that our life has yielded may not have been our choosing. From this point, we can now make a choice. And we can now, moving forward, live a life from that vantage point that everything is for our use. And that wherever we had fallen asleep, that even that was made for our benefit if we should allow it, if we should use our free will and our awareness to make it useful, to make it for our good, to make it have meaning that supports us. So I hope this is a helpful thought, a helpful concept for me. This is why Thriving and Aligned is different from a lot of the business programs that I've seen, because I'm now adding on the bits about marketing and Instagram and virality and business formation and all of that good stuff in the 5 weeks that follow the first 6. But the first 6 is about this stuff, the unseen, what happens behind the scenes when no one else can see your vision but you. What's possible when you allow yourself to courageously look at why and how your life got to be this place, both the good and the challenging. When we look at our programs, when we look at our beliefs, when we look at how those inform our actions and our emotional experience, then we can seize our destiny. If you feel like you've been looking for a complete transformation, not just in your career or in your finances, but in your purpose and your fulfillment and in your day-to-day experience of what's possible, I hope that Thriving Aligned feels like something that is safe for you to explore all of this in. Because for me, when people have asked me over the years, like, how did you build this business? How did you reach all these people? How do you have sold out retreats? All of these questions about the things that they can see. My answer is always about the things that they cannot see. It's an inside game. And then the other stuff adds on to that. Then it amplifies that. And by the way, it's a lifelong process that I am in yet again. I hope this is helpful for you. I hope this sparks some ideas. And I hope that if you're at this turning point where you're interested in making some meaning out of your creative, unique expression that not just only serves others, but serves you, that you'll join Thriving and Aligned. Thank you.